In today's lesson, we'll be modeling with algebra. The focus of today's lesson will be representing words with an expression or an equation. Player A scores twice as many points as player B. They score 45 points in total. We want to change these words into an equation. Let's start by breaking this down. The word twice can be represented by multiply by 2. Next, let's represent player B with a variable. I'm going to represent this with the variable of x. At this point, you might be asking yourself, why are we representing player B with a variable and not player A? The reason is, player A is comparing themselves to player B. And last, the word total can be represented with an addition sign. We're going to have to put all of this together with some rough notes first. We know that the amount of points that player A scores plus the amount of points that player B scores must have a total of 45. We are representing player B's points with the variable of x. We also know that player A scores twice as many points as player B, so we can represent this as 2x. The addition sign is going to stay the same, and the equal 45 is going to stay the same. Therefore, our final equation is 2x plus x is equal to 45. Employee A makes $1,000 more than employee B. They make $3,000 in total. We want to represent these words with an equation instead. First, we're going to have to break this down. The word more can be represented with addition. Next, we can represent employee B with a variable. I'm going to use the variable of x. Now, you might be wondering, why am I not using a variable for employee A? It's because employee A is comparing themselves to employee B. And last, the word total can be represented with an addition sign. We're going to have to use some rough notes when putting this together. We know that the amount of money that employee A makes plus the amount of money that employee B makes needs to equal $3,000. We've given employee B the variable of x. Since employee A makes $1,000 more than employee B, we can say x plus 1,000. This addition sign is going to stay the same, and this equal 3,000 is going to stay the same as well. Therefore, the final equation is x plus 1,000 plus x is equal to 3,000. The sum of two consecutive numbers is 5. We want to represent these words with an equation. Let's start by breaking this down. The word sum can be represented with addition. Next, the word is can be represented with an equal sign. But what about two consecutive numbers? If you recall, consecutive numbers are numbers that come right after each other. For example, the number 1. The next consecutive number would be the number 2. Now think about this. How did you get from the number 1 to the number 2? Well, what you really did was you just added 1. Let's apply that same logic to a variable. Let's say you have a variable of x. What would be the next consecutive number after x? Well, if you add 1 above, you're going to add 1 below as well. So the next consecutive number would be x plus 1. Therefore, we can represent two consecutive numbers algebraically as x and x plus 1. Let's put all of this together with some rough work. We know that the first number plus a second number is going to be equal to 5. Well, we can represent that first number with the variable of x. That addition sign is going to stay the same. The second number can be represented with x plus 1, since they are consecutive numbers. And the equal sign and the 5 stay the same. Therefore, the final equation is x plus 1 is equal to 5.